Over the years, I have become quite serious about cutting out the things that clutter my life and mind, and reflecting on the past year, I learned a lot about what worked and what didn't, the habits, mindsets, and patterns that were just holding me back. So in today's video, I'm sharing 10 things I'm quitting this year to simplify my life. Some of these are these simple daily adjustments, while others are major shifts that have been on my mind for years. Let's dive in. Number 1, seeking massive transformation over sustainability. For me, last year was about growth in many aspects of life. I was very focused, dedicated, tackled challenges, and had what I'm calling a breakthrough year. But here's the thing, do we really need to be in this constant growth mode? I think growth often feels very exciting and all that, but it can also be very exhausting. I realized that sometimes the most meaningful progress can come when we let things just settle and start focusing on sustainability and being able to keep going rather than chasing these massive transformations constantly. So this year, instead of all the time pushing for new heights, I want to refine and optimize the foundations that I have laid. I am prioritizing balance, giving myself time to reflect and recover when needed so that I can enjoy life and not just execute things. And just to mention here, it's not like last year I was burning out or not enjoying life, but this year I just want to focus more on this area, on this aspect. And if you have followed me for a while, you know that I like naming each year, and after reflecting on the past 2 weeks, like what the name for this year could be, I have decided to call it the optimization year. It's about creating habits and systems to make life exactly more sustainable so I don't feel like I'm stretched too thin. So kind of being in the same theme here. I don't have all the steps clear with this one yet, but it might look like simplifying routines to reduce stress, setting boundaries with my work, or starting habits I kind of dislike doing, but I know that I should definitely do those, so I will start creating some systems around them. Number 2, holding on to things I don't use. The truth is, we all change. Our needs, habits, interests, and even styles evolve over time. What might have been useful or meaningful a year ago could now just be sitting in a drawer. And that is completely okay. It's natural for things to lose their purpose as we move through different phases of life. One thing I have learned over the years is that holding on to things I don't need only adds unnecessary clutter. I mean, that is why I am a minimalist. And not just to my physical space, but to my mind as well. So every year I make it a point to reflect on what I own, what I actually use, and then let go of things. And I believe that minimalism can sometimes be that simple. You don't have to necessarily make a lot of complicated choices or complicated systems around minimalism if you don't want to. It can just be about being honest with yourself and asking yourself, does this still serve me? And if the answer is no, then why keep it? You don't have to declutter your entire home in one day or make life-altering decisions about every little thing. Sometimes the simplest approach is the one that sticks. The third thing I'm quitting this year is disregarding my physical well-being. In the past years, I've been pretty consistent with exercising. I work out 4 to 5 times every week, and that is definitely something that I am proud of. But while I am staying active, I'm also doing a lot of things somewhat poorly when it comes to my body. For example, I am sitting way too much, and my body is starting to remind me of this. I have these tight muscles, pain in my back sometimes, hips and legs, and it all started adding up last year. And now what I have realized is that exercising alone isn't enough. My body needs more than just jogging a few times a week. It really needs stretching, mobility exercises, strength training, and recovery. So this year I am taking a different approach. I have joined a gym with a 12-month membership that I cannot cancel, which as a frugal person is an excellent way to hold myself accountable, because if I am paying for something, you can bet I will make the most out of it. So of course I'll be going there consistently. 4. Saving money at the cost of my time. Money matters, there's no doubt about that. But over the years, I have realized that also time matters a lot, even though I am quite young still. I think in many ways, even time is more important than money because it's an asset, it's something that you can never really get back. I've noticed how often I will choose the free or cheaper option, even if that ends up costing me time. For example, I might sit through long ad breaks on a service or stick to a free version of an app, even if paying for it would save me frustration or unlock features that make my life easier. In these moments, I'm valuing a few saved euros over my time, and honestly, that doesn't always make sense and it isn't really always aligned with my values. But this isn't about throwing money at every little inconvenience. There are still areas where I consciously want to and choose to kind of like waste my time. So I'm not like starting to pay for absolutely everything. So the key for me this year is finding the right balance with this. Where can I invest a small amount of money to reclaim hours of my time? And where does saving money actually align with my values and priorities? Number 5, underestimating the impact of my actions. For a long time, I didn't really think what I do matters all that much. I would make these videos about minimalism, frugal living, and simplifying life, but I often wondered if they made any real difference in anyone's life. Sure, people watch and say nice things about the content, but I figured it was just like people being polite in the comment section. But last year, while I was reading emails and comments from you, I started hearing very specific cases where I was able to inspire someone to simplify or take some positive action in their life. And then a few weeks ago, there was this moment when a friend of mine who never really seemed like interested in minimalism, or we never really talk about that much, he told me that he has been watching my videos, and now this year in 2025 he really wants to start making changes in his life to declutter and find more peace. And these things made me realize that what I do actually might matter. And I think this as well goes like much beyond just being on YouTube making these videos. Ultimately, this is about doing something in your life, like something positive or basically anything, and then sharing that with someone. What we say and do, even on a small scale, can create this chain reaction or give someone a huge light bulb moment, and then they want to make changes in their lives. So minimalism and frugal living might feel like personal choices, I think they are, but still they set an example. They show others that life can be simpler, more intentional, and less wasteful. Even if the impact isn't huge or always so obvious, I guess, it's still real. Every action, no matter how small, can spark something bigger, and I think that is a good enough reason to keep going. The 6th one is chasing perfection in every area. Last night, I had a conversation with my partner about our goals for the year, and she shared an idea that really resonated with me. Instead of striving to excel in every area of life, she's narrowing her focus to like exactly 3 key priorities while allowing the rest to be simply kind of maintained. And I think that is such a great concept, and she put into words something that I have been thinking about for a while, so I'll be doing something similar as well. This year, I want to invest my time and energy in high impact goals, systems, and habits that truly make a difference. It's not about achieving insane amounts or pushing myself to the limit in every aspect of life, as mentioned before. Instead, I'll focus on the areas that matter to me right now and allow other parts of life to be simply good enough. Sometimes maintaining a healthy balance and accepting things as they are is enough to create a life that I can feel proud of. So this shift in mindset for me has now felt very freeing. I'm not really lowering any standards for a healthy life that I want to live. I'm just being more realistic and kind to myself. The 7th thing I'm quitting this year is dwelling on setbacks. Last year came with its fair share of setbacks, injuries kept me from running as much as I wanted, let alone hitting all the goals that I had set for myself. I made some poor financial decisions like losing money on really stupid things, and I bought some second-hand clothes, for example, online that didn't even fit me. So it was, as a minimalist, these are really frustrating things. I think this happens to everyone, but I really dislike it. And on top of that, I found myself overthinking mistakes, for example, in conversations, or that I made some choices that didn't turn out the way that I had hoped. And it's easy to get stuck replaying these moments in your head, analyzing every detail and wishing things had gone differently. I do this all the time, but the truth is, dwelling on these setbacks doesn't change them. It doesn't change anything. It just leaves me feeling stuck and more frustrated. So this year I want to do better in this, because setbacks happen to everyone, and while they are not fun, what I have learned is that they are opportunities to learn something new and grow from that. For example, the injuries have taught me exactly what I mentioned in this video, the importance of recovery, the importance of all these other things for my body, other than, that main idea of, hey, let's go jogging. So instead of letting these moments define me, I want to focus on what can I do next. Maybe fix what I can, learn from this experience, and then move forward. Life isn't perfect, and neither am I, but letting go of what didn't work and focusing on what's next, I can avoid a lot of unnecessary self-created misery. Number 8, fixating on balance instead of finding it naturally. I have talked a lot about balance in this video and in my intentions for the year, and it is something that I value deeply and definitely want to keep as a guiding principle. But even with the best intentions, it's very easy to go too far and let the pursuit of balance become another source of stress. Work-life balance is especially a thing I overthink too much. Instead of creating real balance, this approach that I have had of worrying, am I either doing too much or too little, instead of just listening to my body and mind, can just add stress. And even minimalism, which is meant to bring simplicity, may become a source of pressure. There's this tendency to feel like everything has to be perfectly organized and completely simplified. And when that pressure builds up, it can take away the peace that minimalism is meant to bring. These moments remind me that balance isn't something you can force into place. I think true peace doesn't come from obsessing over it. It comes when you let things flow naturally. So this year I want to remember that life isn't meant to fit in a perfect mold every single day. Balance is more about how things feel over time, not in every single moment. So some days will feel chaotic, and that is completely okay. Number 9, focusing on too many things at the same time. Sometimes even when everything I'm focusing on is good, it can still feel very overwhelming. Last year I caught myself juggling too many things, ideas for side incomes or jobs, brainstorming about new opportunities, launching new digital products, moving abroad, and thinking about new YouTube channel ideas. And all of this feels exciting and important, but I realized that it would be a great mistake to focus on so many things at once. Even worse, it pulls me away from what I know I should be really doing. And I don't really want to abandon things that inspire me, but sometimes the best thing I can do is simply choose the right priorities for the moment and trust that the rest will follow in its own time. This year I have planned to focus more on seasonality, to reflect on what are the main priorities for this season of life and this time of the year. By identifying those, I can put my energy where it will have the most impact right now and let the rest wait until the time is right. I feel like this is the best way to respect the year's theme, or the name of the year, which is optimization and sustainability. Number 10, living from a mindset of scarcity. I've noticed that sometimes I catch myself slipping into this mindset of scarcity, and it happened especially last year. It's For me, not about worrying that I don't have the latest iPhone or some super car, but about aspects of life that I deeply care about, like having more freedom, living closer to nature, or mastering a certain skill that I might admire. I can find myself thinking, I wish I had this, or I wish I could do that. And it can start to feel like I'm always wanting something that is just out of reach. But when I actually stop and take a step back, I realize how much I already have. I really realized this last month when I was working on my Nordic videos. If you haven't seen those, basically I'm just talking about this Nordic culture where I am living in. Reading through the comments and seeing how people reacted to how things are here, I had this moment where I thought, wow, I really do have things pretty well. So this year I want to live with a mindset of abundance. Not because everything is perfect where I live or in my life or all this, but because there's so much good already in my life. And from this place of gratitude, I can move forward with more clarity, peace, and appreciation. If you are planning to simplify your life this year but aren't sure where to start, check out my course Simple Life Blueprint. I have this 30% sale going on until January 15th, so if you're interested, don't miss the offer. The link is in the description. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to stay kind and meaningful in your own beautiful journey. See you in the next one. Ciao.